Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for these. They are the stickers to my channel. Let's open it up. Hey there, pups. Welcome back to the doghouse. If this is your first time here, hoping that you'll consider becoming a permanent part of the family. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and then click the bell so that way you can come along with us as we have more adventures here at the doghouse, of course, naturally. If you're here to kind of learn about stickers, then stick around. We're gonna get ready to talk about them a little bit. For me, this video is primarily going to be me explaining my own personal experiences from conceptualizing a design to actually getting one made to the process of getting a physical sticker in my hands. So it's not on behalf of anybody else, it's my own personal experiences. So just take it for what it is, and hopefully for anybody that's starting down this foray, maybe for branding for their own company, or they just want a personalized sticker, it'll give you some tips on things that you can anticipate while you're going through the actual process. There are a couple of different ways that you could find artists in terms of trying to find somebody to help assist you in maybe getting a design created. For me, I had 3 different options that I decided to choose from. One artist is somebody that I knew personally back from when I lived in Florida. For my very first design that I got, actually my great friend Carlos, I reached out to him. He was so cool about it. We worked it out and he made a design for me, and from there I got stickers made that way. Another artist is somebody that I met in person, just off the cuff, just living my life and going along on my adventures. Her name was Haley. I actually met her at a roller derby competition, go figure, in Washington State. She had a little almost like a shop that was set up at the roller derby. I was selling some stickers, and I actually just took her business card just on the off chance. I was like, oh, maybe I'll reach out to her. And so once I got hammered down that I really wanted to think about stickers, I actually emailed her and we started to talk back and forth. And then the third person is actually somebody that I sought out through social media in order to kind of get an idea of what I wanted. Mandy, I actually found her through Instagram, and the rest for all 3 from there is history. If you are going to utilize social media as a tool to try to find your artist, I definitely always recommend hashtags. There are so many different styles of artwork, so I definitely think if you're looking for a particular style, you could try to enter that as a hashtag. Hopefully you'll find an artist that you could either DM or, as they say, direct message, and ask them if they accept commissioned work. Okay, so now we've talked about different ways that you could find an artist. There are a couple of steps/tips that I would recommend from here. I think once you found an artist, first thing that I would recommend highly is to know your vision. I think this is super important. Obviously every artist is different. Every image of what they might perceive might be different as well. But just know for yourself, what are you looking for? I know for me in particular, for my channel, at least for the design that I was looking for, I knew for a fact that I wanted either aviators, definitely a doghouse for sure, definitely balloons. I was okay if I was either in the design or not in the design. Preferably I would want it to be in it, but if I wasn't, that was okay. And preferably I wanted the balloons to be primary colors, and preferably I wanted the doghouse to be red. Those things can kind of shift, obviously, as you're working with different artists, but I think for yourself, just make sure that you know what you want before you reach out to the artist. If you're kind of wishy-washy, it's kind of hard to work with, especially for the artist. If they're like, well, what do you want? And you're like, well, I don't know. So just make sure before you start to reach out to different artists, just know what you want out of the artist before you reach out to them. That's super important. Along with knowing what you want out of the artist, I'd recommend probably to have maybe about 5, maybe 8 different photos of yourself. If the artist needs some sort of reference work, either pictures of you, pictures that you like, most recent, as well as any sort of I would say images that are similar to what you're asking for. So that way, once the artist is like, okay, well, can you send me some pictures? You already have that ready. Sometimes save them into a zip folder or a zip drive. If you have a folder on your computer, and I have a PC, I probably should mention that I don't have a Mac. But once you've got a folder, you can just right click and literally says save as, and you can do zip to file. That'll put all of those pictures and products into one folder that you could literally email to an artist. That's probably the easiest recommendation, I would say. That's how I did it. But there's tons of different opportunities. So I would say just make sure you've got all those things already saved, and that makes the process streamlined that much quicker to get things started on the road. All right, so now you've found your artist, you've told them your vision, you've sent them your pictures, what have you, but probably even before you've gotten to this particular step, once you've reached out to the artist and you ask them if they accept commissioned work, probably the very first thing that will come up is probably either pricing and length of time. I think for both of these things, whichever one you focus or discuss with first, communicate. Communication, I think, is probably the biggest key of this whole process. You know, even if you've got a super broad vision, like for myself, I had a couple of, components that I wanted included. Maybe the artist will ask, do I have artistic freedom? I know you want a couple of things, but doesn't matter, where you're placing it. Doesn't matter where the balloons are. Doesn't matter if there's other things, blah, blah, blah. I think for myself, I am a very antsy person. So I always try to see it from the other side of this experience as the artist. It does take time to build a product, completely understandable. But I think communicating to, the person who is expecting something from you is key. So I think from any part of the process, asking the artist, how much would it cost to get a concept design versus how much would it cost to get a design that I get to keep? Are there things that the artist wants to keep ownership for? But personally, for myself, I don't mind if you take a super long time to produce an of quality design, but just keep me in the loop. Just let me know what's going on. I know once I started working with Mandy, she sent me to her website page, which really broke down the whole process step by step, from payment to timing to communicating, and I think it's very refreshing to know all of that information up front, so that way you're not waiting 3 weeks to a month and a half, and you're not hearing from the artist and you don't really know where you are in the process of actually receiving a product. So I just think, professionalism, obviously, I think is the most important thing. So from both parties, just making sure to set that expectation between the artist and you as a person expecting a product, just knowing how long that process will be, and then, just being patient with the artist while they produce that content for you is super important. All right. Now we found our artists, we've sent them work, we've talked about pricing, and we waited, and now they have your finished product. So the next part of this video gets a little bit into computer jargon, and like I previously mentioned, I have a PC, I do not have a Mac, so all of this experience is just from my own personal things that have happened to me on this journey to produce stickers. So from here it gets a little technical. Please bear with me, stay with me. This is probably the most important part of the video because this is all stuff that I learned from it failing horribly. So okay, so the artist contacts you, they say, hey, good news, I've finished your design. Do you want to see it, approve it, make sure that it looks great, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I love it, you pay it, and they send it to you. Make sure that you get a PNG file for your designs. This is super important because the actual design itself, you need it as a PNG because it needs a transparent background. If you have it saved as a JPEG, when you send it off to try and get it used as a sticker, sometimes some of the images kind of warp. This is from what I've read up on. I am not any sort of technical guru or know any of those things. It's just things that I've literally read up on because I learned them as they happened. So first things first, just make sure that the files that are sent to you from your artist are PNG. This is super important. You won't be able to do anything with the actual design if it's not saved in that format. Once again, it has to be in PNG. I would recommend to ask the artist if there are a couple different versions of the design that they could send to you. My very first design that I ever got from my friend Carlos, the very first conceptual design that he sent to me is actually the little logo that is down in the corner of the video. I loved the hard concept of it, and it was the first design that I ever had for my channel, so I was like, this is so cool. So just ask your artist, like, hey, do you care if like some conceptual designs I could keep, or maybe you want one design with a background or one design with no background, or you want, I don't know, different colors, things of that nature. If there are other alternative options that your artist is willing to offer you, just make sure at the final moment where you get all of your images sent to you that those are other options that you can utilize as well. Once again, all those options saved in a PNG. Now, your artist has sent you all of your files, all in PNG. There are probably more than 3, but I think for myself primarily, there were 3 different avenues / options that I could choose on how to actually get a finished physical sticker. The first one that you could do is that you could get it through the artist. That's probably one of the things that you could ask along with the commission of a design. You could ask them, do you make stickers? If they do, then it's a one-stop shop for you, because then you can pay the price of your design and pay the price of your stickers. I know with Haley, originally when I emailed her, because I knew that she already made stickers, that was kind of the lead into, hey, do you accept commissioned work? I was like, oh, I'm looking to have some stickers made of a particular design. Could you assist me with that? And so from there, she drew up a design for me, and then she kind of let me know what her pricing would be for her once the design was completed. That's another thing that you definitely have to remember in this process of making stickers. So there's 2 different prices just to keep in mind. There's the price for the actual design that you're paying the artist, and then there's the price of the actual sticker that you, like the physical sticker for it to get made. So just keep that in mind. You know, if your artist says, oh, it's, you know, $150 for the design, that's not the price for the sticker. So for you to get, you know, 50 to 100 stickers, it might cost you, you know, $100, $125. So in total, you'll probably spend about $200 plus maybe $300 between actually that finished design and your physical sticker. So keep that in mind. That's super important. But if you do find an artist who does both, that's kind of nice. Maybe they'll work out a total price for you, where that might include the cost of product as well as producing the actual stickers. If that is not the case, you could go another avenue where you could try to produce the stickers yourself. So maybe you pay the price of the design of the sticker, the artist sends you the actual products, the PNGs, and there is a machine called a Cricut. I don't own one, I've never used one, but I have heard from other individuals that you could use a Cricut to make your own stickers. I am not that creative. I mean, I probably could figure it out if I needed to. And I've never done it before, but if anybody has, please share some information in the comments box below. I know nothing about it, but it's just another avenue that you could do. And I don't really know how much the products would cost for that. Cricuts, I've heard, are kind of expensive. They're like $200, something along those lines. So I was like, yeah, this is kind of out of my realm. I don't think that's gonna happen. The last avenue that you could take, which is actually the avenue that I ended up taking, is that you can actually get stickers produced online. Now there are obviously tons of different websites that offer custom stickers, labels, things of that nature. I originally, once I had gotten my first design back from Carlos, Carlos doesn't produce stickers, so I just kind of went online and found a website and got some stickers from them, which is going to segue into a lot of other things that I'm going to recommend if you are going to decide to get stickers produced online. Now, if you are going to get stickers made online, the most important thing I am going to recommend is that you know your dimensions. This is very important, especially for me. I learned a lot of things in ordering my first order of stickers, because the first order of stickers that I got, first of all, let's start with the first order of stickers that I got were 200 stickers.
What?
Yeah, I know, but it only cost me like 20 bucks, something crazy. I was like, oh my god, what a deal. 200 stickers for like $20, heck yeah. And when I got them, I realized that they were one by one. Okay, we're just gonna, I can't wait, I can't. What? So they're like a size of like a quarter. Yeah. Design wise, that's not a bad thing. However, in every one of my designs that I had chosen, I wanted to incorporate a QR code. So that way, when people were out and about in the city, if they happened to see my sticker, they could just scan the QR code and it would literally just take them straight to my channel. So now a 1x1 size sticker has an unscannable QR code, and I had 200 of these, so in theory these stickers were useless. So just something super important to remember if you are going to utilize designs that do have things like QR codes and scannable items. Some things that I learned from some friends as well as online sources, just make sure primarily that your QR code is black and white. You can find websites that you can alter the colors. Originally mine was like a nice cute sky blue. Unfortunately, if the colors are not black and white, sometimes some cameras on some phones can't scan the actual design.
What?
Or it's harder for the phone to scan the design. So as jazzy as it would look to be in a different color, the darker the color tone, the better, preferably probably in black and white. So just to keep that in mind. Another important tip in regards to QR codes as well, most QR codes are primarily scannable at a 1x1 dimension. So just be careful how small you actually make that QR code. So when you're building your design conceptually, just make sure you mention that to the artist. I've treaded very lightly on that 1x1 inch, and I've kind of pushed the limit to see how tiny I could potentially get a actual design with the actual QR code. And I've been so fortunate that learning, from experience, what works now. So just make sure you keep that in mind. If there are, technological aspects that you're going to need from your design, that they're gonna work overall within what you need it to do. Totally not a sponsored video, but I do have to give a huge shout out to a website called Sticker Mule. So I actually went through their website to actually order my conceptual design pieces for my second design, and they are great. So when you put in your order, You can put in some comments, and from there they'll give you the proper dimensions that you should, recommended proper dimensions that you should get your stickers printed, so that way you'll have a product that you could actually use. From there, after you place your order and they give you recommendations, you can approve a proof. So they'll send you a proof of what they recommend would be the best sticker. And if it's any sort of changes that might, change your pricing, it'll let you know from there. But honestly, I've had a wonderful experience with that website. The people there they're just so sweet. And if you need any assistance with see that once again, more jargon that I learned from going down this path. If you need to vector an image, or if you have an image that's not in the proper dimensions, so the image looks a bit grainy, or it's not looking kind of rough, they do everything that they can, hopefully within their power, to try and assist you. So be sure to check the description box down below. I'm definitely going to leave a link to their website, as well as the other website that I got my first design from. They weren't bad. I fell in love with Sticker Mule. They're super dope. So just keep an eye out for them. Okay, so you've found your artist. You've asked if they can accept commission work. You've sent them your artwork. You've communicated your vision, your price. They've sent you your product. You have either had them created through your artist, or you've made them yourself, or you've ordered them online. But now comes the best part, which is the part that I was like, oh my god, this is great. Now you have your product. Now you have your actual stickers. This for me was like, oh man, like this was awesome. And I hope that that's the most important / greatest part for you as well. Hopefully taking the tips that you've learned, hopefully from this video, that by the time you get to the end of the race, you're like, yeah, stickers. You slap them on a water bottle, you put them on a notebook, I don't know, you hand them out to friends, you just enjoy them. That's what they are there for. I personally, once again, want to thank you guys. If you've made it to the end of the video, good for you. You did great. And I also want to give a crazy major shout out to my most 3 important people throughout this video and this whole process, Carlos, Haley, and Mandy. Thank you guys for being so patient. Thank you for being so wonderful and producing 3 of the most important images to me currently, in my lifetime right now at least. They mean the world literally to me, and I'm so excited to see what other artwork is inspired from what you guys have created and built. So alright pups, well, you know the drill. It was a lot of fun kind of reliving some of the journey to get to the process of completed stickers. Who knows, I'll probably end up handing them out as like makeshift business cards or something like that. Thanks so much for coming to join me along this journey called life, and keep an eye out for some other videos that are coming down the pipeline. Bye.